Well, hopefully you can see this. It's kind of hard for me to know what I'm viewing. In order to get this last cap off, I need to remove these. It is a 3/16 Allen. I was going to try and take the other ones out, but the crank is in the way. And these, I mean, I'm using a long extension purely because it's just it's it's easy to get to. Yes, you saw how easy it was, didn't you? And you can see that I've already loosened them, but this is what I did, and then unscrewed them, and then there we go. Let me get my magnet, because I've already unscrewed these babies purely because I wasn't sure if I could do it. There's one, and there's the other one. Look at that. Okay, great. So those two are out now. The next thing I'm going to do is flip the engine over. Then I'll be able to pull off that seal retainer, and then remove that final bearing cap. I say final, that's not quite true. There is the one at the front yet that I haven't completed, which I'm about to do once I've got this off. So there we go. All right, hopefully that is helpful. Okay, next to do is to remove this. I've already taken the nuts, the hex screws out and tapped it. Oh, and look at that, she's coming out nice and easy. All right, there you go. That now allows the crank to come out here. Obviously there is a seal in here that will have to be renewed. Looks like one of the dowels stayed in and one came out, so just be aware of that. But again, this can only go one way around. All right, next little beastie is to come up here and remove this distributor shaft bolt. Now, hopefully you can see this. I need to get this tab nut back so that I can get this nut undone. Kind of tricky. And I wish my memory would serve me well as to whether this is the correct way to do this. Now, okay, that is now flattened, and I need to get a socket to fit this. Now we'll try and undo this. This is a 7/8, so let's see how it goes, huh? Wowee, that was amazing. That came undone beautifully. Now what I need to do is get that off of there. This is not going to be easy. Okay, nut and washer. This brass piece, which is, being brass makes me very, very nervous. Let me get my panel beater's hammer, see if it will. Coming, but I gotta tell you, like this. There's a keyway. I know there's a keyway that this thing lines up to. I'm not happy with this. I'm going to have to give this some thought. Maybe I can just pry it open. I don't like hitting these teeth. This is not good. Let me see if I can use my little pry bar here in this gap that has been created. I'm going to have to go off camera now, and I think I'll use a puller on that. That's going to be the easiest thing. Okay, off the air now. Right, I just engaged my brain cell, and that hurts. And I must admit, I have damaged these teeth. I'll fire those flat because I don't want to buy a new thing. You know, steel to steel, Gary. Look at this. Drive the shaft out in the other direction. There she goes. Look at that beauty. There she is. Okay, so that shaft is now out. That cog. Don't lose that, Gary. Put this baby back on there. And as I said, there is a keyway on it. So just line the keyway back up again. Sorry about my dog in the background. As I've mentioned in previous videos, he loves to let you know he's around. Okay, I'm gonna get this back on here with the nut, and now I can remove this cap and then remove the crankshaft. So once I get all these pieces in a bag, I'll come back to you. Okay. I've now put those little items in a bag. Next thing to do is to get this off. Final cap. Of course it wants to fight me. There she goes. Alright. Oh, there are metal filings in there. Not a surprise, but the thing is they came through the oil way. So that tells me I really must clean out all the oil ways perfectly. Let me get this put over here. Bag number 7. Sorry if me moving around is making you guys sick. And everything is off. Time to lift the crank. Do I have room for it on my bench? Not quite. Let's clear a space. Oh gosh, let's move my gin and tonic, my crappy phone, and let's get the baby over here so we can look at it. Are we ready? Oh, this mother's heavy. Okay, time to have Weetabix number 3. There we go. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, my God, this thing's heavy. Okay, there we go. Up on the bench. Oh. All right. Now I did that with my mouth just for fun. All right. Okay. I think they will polish up nicely. I'm just keeping those where they belong. Give that a damn good clean. Take out those little plugs. Flush it through. All right. We are progressing. What do I have left now? A few bearing shells in here. Most of them came out. And they're real easy to get out. Gonna leave them where they are because I do like to see where they came from. Yep, and look, there's a final one there. Alright. Now I have basically a strip block. Get this thing clean. I'm going to paint the inside as I mentioned before with Gypro once it's cleaned, but first I will hone the bores. Alright, boys and girls, that's enough for this section. Gonna get the core plugs out, take the dipstick tube. This is really what a Mark II 3.8 block looks like. Okay. Well, as promised, I'm taking these plugs out. There's a couple of them over here. They're not the easiest of things to get out. Do be aware of that. I've already broken one of my tools trying to get them out. Now I have to go to Harbour Freight and get some more. But hopefully you can see inside here what I was talking about. Look at this gunge. That prevents the oil from coming through. I've got to dig all of that out, and then I'll give it a good flush through, and hopefully that will clear it. And this one over here, let's see. Yeah, not as bad, but it is still in there, as you can see. So, time to go and get some more tools. What a shame, I've got to go and buy more tools from Harbour Freight. And then we'll get these other plugs out. After that, it's removing the core plugs, or freeze plugs, whichever you want to call them. And give the block a thorough cleaning, and then hone the bores. Fingers crossed that works. And if the bores aren't too bad, order some parts and start putting it back together. Okay, move on to the next section when I return with the tools. Alright, my last tool, as you know, sheared, so I'm about to try my new tool that I bought from good old Harbour Freight. This is the one I need, the quarter. The biggest problem I have is getting it off of here, I guess. Is there a trick to this, he asks? If there is, I don't know it. Hang on a second. Come on. Oh, almost there. There she goes. Yeah, the trick was brute force and ignorance. I got some of that. Alright, let's see now if we can get these out. The angle's not easy. Let me try. Make sure I get that all the way in. Okay, let's try. I didn't get it all the way in, and that bugger burred. My own fault. Alright, now I need to get it in there properly. Give me a second. Okay, I had to persuade it to go in with a persuader, and because of the angle my gun hits this, so I've had to put a short extension on. Get your fingers crossed for me. Alright, as in previous videos, my compressor has run out of air. Well, it hasn't actually run out, but the pressure has now dropped, of course. So I'm going to fire that up and then we'll come back to this. Alright, jumping around as I mention I do. With the crank out, I'm going to try and polish the journals. I'm trying to keep my expense down. I may have to take the engine out in years to come and rebuild it fully, but at the moment I'm just trying to get it back in and running with reasonable costs. So what I'm going to do is try and polish these journals, and I'm going to start with a 500 wet and dry paper soaked in WD-40 and run it around the journal to clean it up. Then I'm going to go over with a 1200 and then finally with a metal polish and see what kind of results I get. I'll show you the beginning of how I do it, but I'm not going to make you sit and suffer the whole episode. And I will be polishing it with a microfiber strip that I've cut off one of my microfiber cloths, and I may be using this Scotch-Brite as well. Scotch-Brite, Scotch Pad, I'm not sure. So that's on that side. On the pistons themselves, what I do is I soak them, and this is in cellulose thinner, and it tends to dissolve the carbon rather well. And then with a brass brush, a little light brushing, as you can see. Now I know it's not going to get everything off, and I will have to pick up the very heavy deposits, but it's taking the carbon off quite well. I will of course show you when this is completed on this particular piston. Also, one thing to note, I did mention it earlier, these holes, they get clogged. They shouldn't be clogged, obviously, they're meant to be there. That needs to be cleaned out with a drill bit, which is what I do, and isn't that lovely English? And the drill is actually a 5/64. Be very careful, it's a very thin drill. It will break very easily. Don't go slamming through, just take it nice and easy when you drill the hole, and you need to feel the hole first. Okay, I won't comment on that. So let me show you here if I can. You feel the direction the hole goes in. There. The drill naturally follows the hole. These are quite severely clogged, so you're going to have to be very careful when you do this. Oh, and this one's block solid. Again, you have to be very careful and let it follow its natural route. It will do it, believe me. Now my drill bit has got stuck. There she goes. See all the crap that is coming out of these. Okay, and there's another one there. Look at that, you can't even see it. That is so blocked. There it goes, following the hole, and don't forget the other side. There's a couple over here. Actually, that one's clear. That one wasn't, but it is now. So don't forget to do that when you're cleaning up these pistons. I've been kind of debating whether or not to replace these piston rings. Why not, you may say? Well, everything seems to be okay. I'm sure they're worn, and maybe for the cost it's not worth messing around. So I'll leave this to soak for a few more hours and give it a clean up and show you how it comes out. I will also show you these bearings and how they clean up. It will take a little while. As I said, first of all I'm going to do it with 500. In fact, let me just show you that now. Give it a soak in WD-40. Just acts as a good lubricant. Put the piece of wet and dry in. Don't do like I do like I say. Alright, I made that a little too wide. And just work it, oops, work it back and forth. It's not aggressive, it's very light. Kind of get rid of the marks and any oil marks that are on there. Keep it well lubricated with that WD-40. Okay, now we're going to go to the 1200. And you work this as long or as much as you're happy with, but don't go crazy, otherwise you're going to end up having to have it all reground. As you can see, I'm only doing this for a few moments. I'm not going crazy on it. Okay, let's give that a bit of a wipe. That's looking a lot better already. Now, just for fun, I'll put some metal polish on there, grabbing my trusty piece of microfiber towel. There we go. I'm just going to do this for a few moments to show you guys, and then afterwards I'll continue to do it a lot more, but it gives you the idea as to what has to be done so that you can get a decent finish on these. Yeah, mirror finish is ideal. Is it likely to be achieved? Possibly, depending on how much effort you want to put into it. The mirror finish is obviously where you're aiming, but it does require a lot of work, a lot of good old elbow grease, and lots of gin and tonic. Alright, let's have a look now and see how good or bad it is. Well, it is not perfect, I will give you that. It feels absolutely wonderful and almost to a mirror shine. That can be obtained with a bit more work, which is what I will give it, but I won't waste your time watching me get that shine on there, and I will be doing the same on every one of these. Boy, there's a lot to do. Okay, that's it for the moment on this particular video clip. We'll see you on the next piece I attempt. Okay, I even broke my Harbour Freight tool. Fortunately, this is warranted for life, so I'll be taking it back and getting a new set and then continuing with this. But I tell you what, these buggers are tough, so be prepared for that. I'm going to have a look and see if I can perhaps get the peening off before I attack them again. There must be some kind of way to do this, but I'm